We're just moving scenes. We're moving. The sabers continued to rattle, so to speak. I was feeling unwound on one particular day, which had been validated by Soma approaching me with some rather unfortunate news. What? Sanan-san's missing?
はい、土方副長から謹慎を命じられていたはずですが、訪ねてみると姿が見えませんでした。
それどころか、豚舎のどこにもいねえんだ。今、島田さんたちが必死に探してる。
俺たちも今から捜索に当たりますので、何かありましたら知らせてください。
Before I could even respond, Soma and Nomura dashed towards the front gate. My mind swirled in tireless worry. If Sanan-san disappeared, I wondered what happened. I sifted through possible explanations and couldn't help but lean upon one. My tepid heart tightened, and I covered it with my hand. Shallow breaths staggered from my mouth. I turned my head to find Hijikata-san and Heisuke leaving the compounds with pensive expressions, and I couldn't help but call out to them. Hey, wait! Please!
千鶴。
悪いが、今はお前と話してる暇はねえ。用があるなら後回しにしてくれ。
Ow, I got compared to a fly. I heard about what happened. If you're planning on searching for Sanan-san, then I request that you allow me to join you.
今回はダメだ。状況は最悪の方向に動いちまってるかもしれねえし、そうなったらお前に見せるわけには。
What do you mean, take a turn for the worse? I stared blankly at Heisuke, but his expression turned sheepish as he averted his gaze. Hijikata-san, perhaps frustrated by the whole affair, heaved a tender sigh.
そんなに来たきゃついてこい。ただし何があっても知らねえぞ。
おい、土方さん。
仕方ねえだろう。こうでもしなきゃ食いついてきそうな顔してんだからよ。それに今は問答してる時間も惜しい。行くぞ。
As Hijikata-san kicked at the ground to a sprint, Heisuke and I tailed him frantically. Oh boy!
お前も察してると。三男さんが変な真似しないように、最近あの人の動きを牽制して。
Edo's dim streets were filled with a tense, placid chill. Faint creaks made me flinch as I walked beside Hijikata-san, who scoffed before quietly speaking to me.
どうにも最近の三男さんは焦燥感に突き動かされてるように見えるからな。
You're reading too much into it. He's just been frustrated by his situation, that's all.
怪しいのはそれだけじゃねえんだよ。今回ほどあからさまじゃねえけど、今までも三男さんは夜中に豚舎を抜け出してどこかへ行ってた形跡があるんだ。で、ついでに言うと、この間辻斬りの話をしたろ。その事件、最近じゃますます被害者の数が増えてる。
Well, I think... Before I could offer him a rebuttal... I heard a blade cleaving through flesh, followed by the frightening sound of a bone cracking and a blood-curdling scream. What the heck was that?
近いな。こっちの路地だ。ついてこい。
The alley was narrow, and I was careful not to trip haphazardly on thick pieces of lumber near our feet. I saw a murky, viscous liquid trickling towards me. It was dim, save for the hazy moonlight above us. the back of the alley, covered in shadows, stood
意外なお客さんですね。
a Ronin covered in deep lacerations was lying in a thickening pool of fresh blood. Ronin, a warrior without a domain or banner to serve or affiliate.
皆さんどうかされましたか？
Sanan asked us coolly, flickering chunks of flesh from his bloody sword as if it were a casual affair. Holy shit! Sanan-san!
下がってろ千鶴。
こいつはどういうことだ、三男さん。説明はしてもらえるんだ。
この状況で私の説明を信じてもらえるんですか？
信じる信じねえは聞いてからだ。
Oh shit. Both Hijikata-san and Heisuke swiftly drew out their swords, moving their feet into an offensive stance. Upon seeing that, I chose to plead with them to stop! Please, stop!
下がれって言っただろう。さっさとそこをどけ。
No! I refuse! I leaped in front of Hijikata-san, raising my arms to block their path as I strained my voice, shouting, Why? Why? Sanan-san is your friend. How could you possibly think of killing him without hearing him out?
身内がしでかしたことは俺たちで肩をつける。だからそこをどけ。雪村。
何がおかしいんだよ三男さん。
いいえ、まさかこの状況で味方してくれる人がいるとは思わなくて少し驚いてしまいました。
Hijikata-san and Sanan-san traded hateful glares. An electrifying tension filled the air, making it nearly impossible for me to draw breath. I don't like that. In the blink of an eye, I saw someone dart forward, though it hadn't been whom I was expecting. What? Everyone's attention immediately shifted towards the source of the high-pitched laughter. That was supposed to be laughter? To our bewilderment, the Ronin's flesh began to disintegrate like dust, scattering throughout the alley by the wind. I threw my hands up to cover my face. It blew against the back of my palms, and I realized that its texture was akin to ash.
なんだよこいつは。一体どうなっちまってんだ。
羅刹の力の限界ですよ。羅刹の強さの源は生命力。羅刹は自らの寿命を削りながら力を振るっているのです。当然のことですが、それを使い果たせば朽ちゆくのみ。
つまりあなたたちもいずれはこうなる可能性が高いということです。
Oh!
天霧、なんでお前が。
ご苦労様でした、三男圭介。あなたの協力に感謝します。
As the demon Kyujo Amagiri made his entrance, all of us were aghast, and I flinched in horror. Amagiri turned his eerie gaze away from Sanan-san and addressed us directly with a worse smirk.
私は新政府軍に頼まれて実験の最中に脱走した羅刹兵たちを追っていました。羅刹兵は江戸に赴き、辻斬りに見せかけて人間を襲っていたのです。
Yeah, that's what I thought.
偶然にも七位を見回る彼と出会いまして、協力をお願いしていた次第です。新政府内で勢力を求める行動と羅刹兵の情報を見返りに
ナンさん、あんたまさか新政府のそれも鬼と通じてやがったのか。
彼らも光道さんの羅刹のことを苦々しく思っていたようですから、一時的な協力です。それに敵方羅刹の情報は我々に必要と判断しての行動ですが、勝手な行動を取ったことは事実。処分はいかようにもお受けしましょう、土方副長。
詳しい話は屯所に戻ってから聞かせてもらうぞ。
It was a huge relief for Sanan-san to prove that he wasn't the culprit of the swath? That's a word. Swath of murders plaguing Edo. At the same time, however, my opinion of Sanan-san's intentions was clouded by his secret collusion.
さて、私の役目は果たしましたので、この辺りでおいとまさせてもらいましょう。おのおの方、どうか悔いのない選択を。
Before any of us could stop and ask him to clarify, Amagiri vanished like a mist into thin air, leaving us dumbfounded by his cryptic message. For a brief moment, I stood still, suddenly deliberating what this could mean for myself and for Sanan-san. Regardless of whether or not Sanan-san was acting with the Shinsengumi's goals in mind, his connection with Amagiri was suspicious, if not outright treasonous. It was in clear violation of the rules of conduct, punishable only by seppuku. But since Sanan-san was technically already dead, it was a hollow sentence. Ultimately, the Shinsengumi strictly ordered Sanan-san to remain in probation under house arrest. Meanwhile, the Shinsengumi had been preoccupied with their next course of action. Because Edo had surrendered to an armistice with the Imperial Army, remaining within the city was no longer a suitable option for the Shinsengumi. The Shinsengumi decided once more to relocate, this time to the city of Aizu under the jurisdiction of Lord Katamori Matsudaria, to mobilize against the Imperials. On the night before we were ordered to leave Edo, I was nestled in my futon, wide awake with my thoughts. Twilight was at its peak, enveloping our compounds in an impenetrable darkness. As fatigued as I had felt, shutting my eyes for longer than a minute was proving to be quite the task. I took deep breaths, attempting to calm my heart's heavy rhythm, and finally drifted to sleep. In my dream, a visitor slinked into my room quietly. It was Sanan-san, wearing a gentle, affectionate smile with a melancholy twinkle in his eyes.
Yukimura-kun.
Sanan-san? Was this real?
よく眠っていますね。可愛らしい寝顔です。
A warmth tickled down my scalp as he patted my head. He ran his fingers softly through my hair, tickling my head, though I had no energy to react.
今日こうして来たのは他でもありません。どうしても君にお礼を言いたかったんです。あなたは江戸に帰ってきてからの私を何度も慰めてくれましたね。皆から疑わしかった私をずっと信じてくれたのもあなただけでした。私には君が思うほどの価値などないというのに。
Why? I felt like calling out to him, asking him, but even in my dream, I was situated as a passenger, unable to move my hands or lips in response.
それだけではありません。初めて落ち水を飲もうとした際、君は必死に止めようとしてくれた。羅刹となり血をすする存在となった私を恐れることなくいつも世話してくれて、こんな私を信じ続けるなんて本当に君はどうかしていますね。そこまで優しいと私も勘違いしてしまいそうです。あなたが私のことを好いていてくれるのかと。
By this point, Sanan's face was inches from mine. Sanan pressed his supple lips against my forehead, igniting a flame deep in the pit of my chest. For a dream, the sensation was unmistakably real, covering me from head to toe in sweet bliss. If this evening proved to be an actual dream, then I never wanted to awake from it.
正解は聞きませんよ。所詮は叶わぬ夢ですから。聖者は死者に恋をしてはいけない。それが世の断りです。
He spoke in a hushed tone and backed away from me. Please, please don't go. My entire body yearned for the closeness of his skin, but I could neither open my eyes nor lift a finger.
本当はこの後もずっとこの身が灰になるまで君を隣で守り続けたかった。ですが私にはやるべきことがある。新選組にいては果たせない願いが。だからさようなら。
I'm stunned. Legit stunned. I awoke in a daze, untied by a heavy heart and a distracted mind. For some odd, inexplicable reason, tears began to stream down my cheeks. I wiped them softly and made my way to Sanan's quarters. But as I had suspected, he was nowhere to be found. Memory of his farewell came to me like deja vu, and I found a neatly folded kimono beside his satin futon and nothing else. No research notes, no tomes, no evidence of his stay. Most of all, the man whom I wanted to see most. Jesus! Alright.